First step to use the load shelf on the crux frame is going to be to detach the bag from the frame. Right now I have a Sky 5100 that's in bivy mode. So my first step is going to be to loosen all the compression straps around the outside. And there are 8 of them. Two on the bottom. Then on the front of the frame, we're going to detach the load lifters that go to the shoulder straps. Right there. There are 2 tension locks that land right underneath your back hip when you're wearing the pack, in between the pack and the frame. Loosen that one on that side. It's a strap that holds the bag down onto the stays of the frame. Loosen that one. Now the entire bag will separate away from the frame and allow access to the load shelf. The last step is going to be to attach the load lifters back to the tension locks on top of the frame, top of the 2 stays of the frame. So now you have your functional load lifters back. Once we have the bag detached from the frame, your next step is going to be to detach the 4 side buckles, and the entire bag will roll back. The unique thing about the crux frame, especially when using the load shelf, is you're going to want to load it with the pack laying flat on the ground. We'll loosen the 2 straps on the load shelf. And we'll bring the load cell or quarter in. Right now I have a Stone Glacier dry bag, load cell dry bag, loaded with about 50 pounds of rock salt. Slide it down onto the frame. Especially if you're dealing with boned meat, the next thing you're going to want to do is make sure that it's an even thickness, the height of the frame. Once we have that even thickness going to the top, tighten up the compression straps on the load shelf. You don't need to over tighten these, and we don't want the load shelf so tight that it's pulling straight up away from the frame. 1 to 3 inches from the bottom of the frame is about ideal. If you have a smaller load and you want to have it go taller, you're better off to go thinner and taller than you are to leave a larger chunk towards the top. Once we have the load cell or quarter secured in here, we're going to roll the bag back over on top. And one of the keys to this is to make sure that your bag is completely loaded with all of your gear before you load the load shelf. So once we have the bag rolled back on top, we're going to reattach side compression straps on both sides. And there are also 2 compression straps that come from the top of the frame that we'll be able to attach back to the load lifter spots on the bag for extra compression on top, or to attach a set of horns. Once we have everything reattached, you're going to work your way around the bag, tightening the compression straps to get even compression. Once completely compressed, that compression is going to keep that load in place in the load shelf. The last step is going to be to attach the top compression straps. And these can go back to the load lifters, either straight, or if you have a set of horns, you can take them in a crossing pattern back to the load lifter straps.